So Joe Biden's campaign came out with this campaign ad attacking Bernie Sanders and his campaign for rightly calling out Joe Biden's willingness on multiple occasions throughout the decades being open to cutting Social Security. So, this is a tweet from Biden. I've been fighting to protect and expand Social Security for my whole career. Any suggestion otherwise would just be flat out wrong. So, and then here, let's take a look at his ad and then we'll discuss.
As Democrats, we can't launch dishonest attacks against fellow Democrats. We have to beat Donald Trump. Now Bernie's campaign has unleashed a barrage of negative attacks on Joe Biden.
There was one op-ed that was published by Bernie Sanders surrogate in the Guardian, I think maybe last Friday or a couple days ago, something like that, pointing out very correctly multiple examples of Joe Biden's corruption. That's not negative, that's just pointing out the policy differences. Joe Biden has been, a corrupt politician for many decades, and there's many examples of that. Bernie Sanders isn't, and that's why that stuff's not on his record. It's important in the primary process to point out how you are different than your candidate.
They've even accused Joe Biden of supporting Paul Ryan's cuts to...
Because he did. The reason why that there was no cuts made to Social Security under the Obama administration was that because the Republicans wanted to cut it even more than what Obama and Biden were willing to in that what they called the grand bargain.
Social Security. Bernie's campaign is not telling the truth.
Yes, they are.
Biden has repeatedly voted to save Social Security. He and President Obama beat back Republican attempts to...
No, again, the reason why it wasn't privatized is because the Republicans wanted to take it even a step further than Biden and Obama were willing to, but they were willing to privatize it and make cuts to it. Don't be fooled by that.
And in 2012, Joe Biden even said he didn't support those cuts to Paul Ryan.
We will be no part of a voucher program or the privatization of...
Okay, but there's multiple videos of you pointing out that you're open to cutting it multiple times. So which version should we believe, Joe?
Social Security.
Biden's plan protects Social Security and will increase benefit.
Don't believe it. If you're a older person and you're receiving Social Security now, or you will be at some point, obviously if we get to that age, everybody will be receiving Social Security. He was willing and open to cutting it as a senator as well as a vice president in the Obama administration, and I have no doubts that he would be willing and open to cutting it along with Medicare and all these other, super important programs. Don't believe him. Look at his record.
Bernie's negative attacks won't change the truth. Joe Biden is still the strongest Democrat.
No, he's not. I think he would get wrecked by Donald Trump, honestly. Trump would be able to call him out on his corruption, and Biden would come back with well, you're corrupt too, and I think it would stick a lot a lot stronger against Joe Biden than it would against Donald Trump. So that's Joe Biden's ad. Let's check out Bernie Sanders. So Bernie's team came out with this ad shortly after that was released by Biden's team. And again, it's in his own words, which is just even better. So here is Bernie's campaign attacking back at Joe Biden.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Look, literally in his own words, Joe Biden, I tried it once, I tried it a second time, I tried it 4 times, trying to put, those spending freezes in on Social Security, trying to cut back those benefits. And Bernie's the only one who would, stand up to fight and expand Social Security. I don't believe for one second that Joe Biden is committed to it as Bernie Sanders. And we don't have any record of Bernie on tape multiple times advocating for cutting Social Security, but you know who we do have? Joe Biden.
Got some bad news for them. We are not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand benefits.
Boom. There you go. Nice succinct message. We got Biden in his own words saying that he was open to cutting Social Security 4 times in the past. And there you go. Bernie says he's going to strengthen and expand it. Again, I mean, unless you haven't been, paying attention to politics much, which is fine if you haven't, but Bernie, is the only candidate I trust, for these really important issues like expanding and protecting Social Security. Social Security, again, was implemented during FDR, during the Great Depression, in order to keep, elderly people from dying, from going homeless, from not being able to afford their, food or housing. So it's hugely, beneficial program that keeps a lot of seniors, in their houses, out of poverty, allows them to eat and, not have to resort to buying cat food from the grocery store in order to survive. Joe Biden's open to cutting that, has been in the past. I believe he'd be open to it, in the future if elected president. Bernie Sanders has always been on the right side of history on this issue, has always advocated for expanding and protecting Social Security. Focus on that. Focus on the record. Again, multiple examples through many decades of Joe Biden being open to cutting these so-called entitlement programs, including Social Security, including Medicare, including Medicaid, including veterans benefits. So there's really no comparison. Bernie Sanders stands up for the people and the working people and just people in general of the U.S. And Joe Biden has always been willing to say or do anything to protect wealthy corporate interests, and he's willing to cut Social Security. So again, there's no choice. It's Bernie. Bernie's the clear choice if you're concerned about the working people of the United States and getting things like Medicare for all, free college, a Green New Deal, protecting and expanding Social Security, legalizing marijuana. Joe Biden doesn't even agree with freaking legalizing marijuana. Thinks there needs to be more research. It's like, how retrograde and regressive are Joe Biden's policies? So that's why we need to really focus on calling him out on his record, especially things like Social Security, because again, his support tends to be a lot higher with older voters. But again, we see his policy positions and the things he supported in the past aren't beneficial to older voters. And if he was able to put those cuts in, it could have been hugely detrimental to seniors and older folks receiving Social Security. So Bernie, 2020, he's the only choice, not me, us. And I would love to hear your thoughts about these two contrasting campaign ads. Peace. Much love.